Hello and welcome to the Captain's Table, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Paul Berserker01, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the Captain's Table at the AstroPub, and your facilitator here at the Captain's Table. What is the Captain's Table? Well, the Captain's Table is a podcast talk show thing where we talk about Star Citizen, usually very specific topics. Sometimes we talk about general news and such, but I've been trying to do more specific topics to kind of guide the discussion. And today we've got two very veteran guests, I guess we could say. We'll start with the Birdman over there, Mr. Diabolus. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you? And yes, that is 100% cosplay.
Attempting, it's falling apart on me because I haven't actually properly set it up properly yet.
Yeah.
What do? I play the game.
You also do that. You make cosplay. You've won cosplay competitions.
No, do I? Yeah. Yes, I make a lot of cosplay. I if you actually, I'll just cheat your little window here and just do the old twisty. Yeah. I got that big boy behind me.
That's the Defiance, right?
Yep.
Oh wow.
Full suit.
And I also got what I wanted to do next, which is the Molotov Redshift behind me as well.
Nice.
Too much. Okay.
There we go.
And I do a lot of like FPS gaming and stuff.
Nice.
I'm also talking softly intentionally because I'll move it in closer in a second.
There we go. I'll turn you up a little bit more so you're good. All right. And SpaceCoder. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you?
Hello, I am the SpaceCoder, and I am a Star Citizen content creator, but more importantly, I am the, what do you call me, Quartermaster General?
Yes.
The proprietor of the Star Citizen Armory. And if you don't know what the Armory is a tool that lets you find where to buy or loot, in the latest update, FPS gear in Star Citizen. And if you don't know where to find it, follow the link in the chat if you're here live. If you're watching this, it'll be from your homes on YouTube. It's going to be in the description.
Yes, it'll be in the description. The armory.spacecoder.space. A lot of space.
So. Lots of space.
And you're also are you still the information officer or the PR officer for?
No, not anymore. Okay. I now run the mining and salvage division, taking a little break from doing the PR stuff.
What's the org again?
Atlas Defense Industries. If you're looking for some organized play, go join us. It's fun.
Can you do me a favor? Can you not be one of those orgs that spams in chat continuously? Join our org. Yeah, no.
You actually read chat, Diabolus?
Yes, I find it funny when people start raging at each other. How dare you blow me up? And then you get all the swearing going on. It's funny.
All right. Well,
I've never seen us type in chat, but I cannot speak for all the members.
Well, today's theme, because we've got Diabolus here and because we have SpaceCoder here, also because this is an idea I had come up and it just so happens that these two individuals were free and they kind of fit within this whole concept anyways, is customization. Customization in Star Citizen. So we're going to talk about customization in terms of player customization, in terms of civilian clothing, the fashion, the FPS customization, and the ship customization. What CIG does right now, what they do poorly on right now, and how they can improve in the future. And as always, I'd love to hear your own feedback. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all those things. But comment below as well if your own thoughts and opinions on this as well. I like to go read those. I do read every comment. I don't respond to everyone, but I do read every comment. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. So with that being said, let's talk about the first topic. Let's talk about character customization. SpaceCoder. What does CIG do well? What do they do poorly? And how could they improve?
What they do well is that the character models actually look really good. And especially when you look at the stuff they have for Squadron 42, the new hair models, the new face models, it looks amazing. But what they do wrong is that it looks amazing when an artist does it.
Yes.
the actual customization for players is absolute garbage. And I don't understand how CIG came up with this concept. I kind of see where they were going with it, but this is so far away from how every single game out there does character customization that I can't actually see a lot of people do anything incredible with it. Like, my advice to CIG is ditch the character customizer as it is. Go on Steam, buy Skyrim Legendary Edition, then download the character customization mod. Control-C, Control-V.
You know that doesn't work like that.
Unfortunately, yes, I do, but I wish they could.
So what you're saying is look at how other companies do it. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Just
there is no reason to reinvent the wheel. Go with what is the standard there, because you can extend it. Because when you look at games like Dark Souls, or mostly like Japanese games and that kind of stuff, they have amazing character customization where you have a person taking a picture and then customizing the character to look exactly as the picture in under half an hour. Just give us something like that. Give us something where we can actually create something, not just mix and mash like 7 predefined faces.
So more character creation rather than character cooking is what you're saying.
Something like that.
Okay. I'll wait for Diabolus to come back because he's stripping.
Yeah, he's getting naked again.
he's been naked for like the off and on for the last 2 hours. So
depending on the context, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So same question to you, Diabolus. Character customization, the goods, the bads, and how can CIG improve?
The good is that they actually have really detailed models, and the sheer amount of, like, just in armor alone and ships, you have 50 something ships with variants, like 70 now. I can't even count.
Let's focus on just the characters though for right now. We'll go
just the characters. Okay, so they have 7 hairs, and they've now only got 4 colors for the eyes, which annoys the shit out of me. The faces is really annoying. If they had more faces, I wouldn't be that painful with it. But because there's only 4 faces.
There's 4 faces and 8 hairstyles.
Yeah,
and that's it.
Yeah, and then just from that, I can make decent characters, but I actually end up looking samey.
Mm-hmm.
It still they need way more base character faces to even do that system. And I have seen other games use the same system that Star Citizen does. Star Citizen's not the only guys who use that weird face morph system. I've seen 2 other games, I can't remember what they are, use the same system. Maybe closest to my mic now.
You're good. You're just very breathy. I'm guessing you've caught a cold.
It's 8 a.m.
Yeah. So how can they improve the system, do you think? What's that?
Me? You need more faces. They need a lot more faces. They also need some other ways of tweaking the face besides blending. You do the blending system, but also do a way of making your eyes bigger or smaller, or changing the height of it without actually using the blending to do it. Because when you blend an eye to be a higher position, you have to change the eye. You're mixing 2 different eyes to be 2 different positions. If you don't do that, you just end up getting you can't get the eye you want and then move it up and down.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna echo all of y'all's sentiments. I think the face morphing feature is interesting because one of the things it will do is force players to look like something. It prevents Skyrim Hero of Kvatch, or not Skyrim, Oblivion Heroes of Kvatch syndrome.
Heroes of my crotch.
Where you can make a guy who's blue who looks like some eldritch abomination that got shit out of Cthulhu's 4th rectum, and is running around like a fucking weird alien man. Those sorts of things, which people are like, oh, that's funny though. It's yeah, but it doesn't fit in with Star Citizen as an immersion thing. So I do like the morph system. I think it works, but I think I agree with both of y'all that there needs to be more fine control and more faces, more ways of morphing into that.
I would say, just like many things in Star Citizen, it is good enough.
Yes,
for now.
Yeah.
But eventually there will come a point where it will have to expand or change or advance in some way for it to become worthwhile again.
Now, I also would say,
give us like 5 more faces, and everybody's going to be happy for the next 3 years.
yeah,
That's it. That's all we need.
And then the other thing is that's important to think is body sculpting. I think that's something that's going to be needed in the future as well. And I know CIG has talked about it as far back as 2018, that they want to be able to do body slides to be able to have you're never going to be Chungus, thick boy. You're never going to be able to do that. But like going from being perfectly sculpted to being very, very skinny or like a little beer belly is probably a good idea in the future anyways, because it makes things a little bit more unique. And MMOs are all about the uniqueness of your character. It's very, very much the appeal for a lot of people who play it. So let's move on to the next one, which is fashion, clothing. Diabolus, I know, is very passionate about this. So just because I know he's ranted to me several times about the problems of Star Citizen clothing. Diabolus, what does CIG do well with clothing? What do they do poorly with clothing, and how can they improve?
Well, female characters, just start off with that. There's hardly any equivalencies in clothing. Even now, you got stuff from when they first put the 2 character models in, saying, "Oh, this is not available for females," and then you're like, 4 years down the track, this is still not available for females. I'm like, come on. Like, you've got it's I know it's not priority, but you're going to have to eventually, Squadron 42 is going to have it, because if they're going to have, Chris Roberts is going to make you wear civilian clothing sometime.
Mm-hmm.
Swear to God. There's going to be you have to walk into an area with clothing on, because it's Chris Roberts.
Yeah.
Besides that, with the clothing, with the tops and bottoms and stuff, we need to have a way of blending it in with armors somehow. Like being able to wear clothing with armors, so you can actually wear clothing, just slap a body armor over the top of it, and do ground missions in areas with oxygen. So you don't have to have to switch all the time. You just grab some chest armor, slap it on, and you can actually do some FPS missions with like a chest on, with like a coat or something. So that will look so much better than you having to like go full suit, then go out of suit, then clothing, then vice versa.
SpaceCoder, clothing, goods, bads, and how can they improve?
So the goods is that CIG, seeing as Star Citizen is roughly 1,000 years in the future from now, they have this huge space where to move with clothing design. And for the most part, they are actually using this free range of movement where the clothing kind of looks like what you would see around here right now, but it also kind of has that futuristic feeling to it. I like that. There are also quite a few options, in my opinion. But to be fair, I don't wear clothing that much when I'm in game. What they do bad is what Diabolus said, that we can't wear armor over clothes. And to do this, they would actually have to overhaul the entire port system for equipment, which is never ever going to happen, because it's going to break so many things. Mm-hmm. It's going to break everything. Nothing's going to work. Remember when they made Mobby Glass interchangeable and broke the Mobby Glass for like 3 months?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen, just with everything. What they could improve? No, I actually can't think of much. But, obviously giving us more options, because I understand that there are a lot of people out there who actually wear clothing in landing zones, and they're actually doing that whole thing. So, if those people want to have more options, that's great. Even if it's just colors or patterns, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Also, more clothing. Like, I know we have some, you can buy them in New Babbage. You have like winter clothing that actually has some temperature resistance.
Yeah.
So do more of that. Like, I want to go hiking on Microtech without the Navikov suit. Mm-hmm. That could be fun.
Without freezing your balls off. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, the one thing I'm going to say, the thing that CIG does well is they're starting to right now expand the range. So it's no longer just the same things we've had forever. Like the addition of the Ninetales clothing pieces are really nice, and they seem to be continually improving and getting more clothing out there, and that's good. There are lots of options now. The bads are much longer lists though. They do not have many clothing options for the female characters. And then on top of that, CIG is very hesitant to give feminine clothing for female characters, and I do not know why. It's such a well, the thing is that like, yeah, like if CIG is like, we want to make sure everything is unisex, men wear kilts and skirts. It's like not just like today, but historically it's been a thing. Like it's not,
anatomically speaking, men should be wearing skirts.
Yes, it's like, talk to any Scotsman who wears a kilt. They'll tell you why.
Yeah.
And like those sorts of things would be fine. And I think their CIG is worried about any kind of backlash from people who don't play the game at all about stuff like that. But like there wouldn't be. That sort of option's been in like Fallout 4. It's been in games forever. Like no one cares. Like it's just an option you can do. I think that is something that CIG is going to need to tackle at some point, because as much as like everyone looking, having shirts. Oh, another thing, shorts. We don't have any shorts. When you tell me the 30th century that shorts don't exist?
True. They don't have any shorts. Where are the shorts?
No shorts.
Short with me, Paul.
It's hot as fuck in Hurston. We need shorts.
I wouldn't want that air on your skin though.
Well, that's the other true. Problem. That's
if I'm running through Microtech, if I'm doing Microtech, I'm running around Microtech like an inside New Babbage. I want to have my gym shorts and a white like a
oh crap! I already break my pants now. I have to go out to my ship that's parked in the blizzard outside.
But I'm actually pretty sure, because you have the NPCs running around New Babbage. I am pretty sure some of them have shorts. I am.
Yeah, but we don't have the ability to.
We don't have them.
Yeah.
That's also another thing, kind of a side note on this. There's a lot of clothing and a lot of gear that is in-game, and it's used by NPCs, but it's in no way acquirable by players. Mm-hmm. They resolved this a little bit with the loot system, because they're... I'm not sure how much I can say without breaking TOS. But the way CIG does loot is they say this container at this location has this loot table. And the loot table says, this is the item tag that can be contained in this.
Yeah.
And you look up the tags, and this is going to give you like rough groups of items, and it's going to yield a couple hundred items per container. And it's going to give you like probability where it's like 0.00 something.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how they inadvertently actually enabled players to get items we couldn't ever dream of getting.
And since they have the P8 AR, yeah. I actually got one of those. That was fun.
Yeah. So it was kind of inadvertent, and CIG have... I don't think they know that they did this. And they probably thought, okay, the probability is so low it doesn't matter. And I've been noticing that they've been removing them, because they have the option to exclude tags from the loot tables, and it gets complicated, and it took me a very long time to figure out. So you guys be glad it's in the armory. It took me like a month to figure out.
What I find funny is there's been some of those guns, like some guns have been in the files for ages. The Zion rocket launcher was in the file, fully built for like 2 years before loot tables came in. Like, what is this gun? It hasn't popped up anywhere.
It's not the only one. There's a lot of guns and a lot of gear and a lot of armor. It's like, I'm sure it's out there somewhere. Like somewhere there's a 0.001% chance you're gonna find it in a box.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that. I think we should talk a little bit here. I think that's another thing to point out there is like customization is now heavily tied to looting, which I don't like. I don't think that's a good method. I think it's a good stopgap, but like Star Citizen as a looter shooter doesn't really make sense. It doesn't really work. But
this loot system.
Not this loot system, especially not this loot system. Like this loot system is nice, but it needs larger numbers of NPCs. It needs more missions. It needs quanta. There's like lots of things this system needs. It's super bare bones compared to what it should be.
The main problem with the loot system is the tag system that they have, where they say, okay, this container has this tag, and that's a couple hundred items.
Yeah.
So your probability, like they adjust the probabilities on some things a little bit. So you, when you go to caves, there's almost a certain chance you're going to find a medical tool. Or when you go to outposts, there's definitely going to be a multi-tool in one of the gray boxes. So they adjust these, but most of the other items, the probability is nothing. So if
I
they
like
want
when the
players
Morozov
to,
was like 100%.
yeah,
Yeah, that was fucked.
that was fun. And then now they actually have the placeholder specialist set. I keep finding arms in every box I open.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's broken, but it's fine. So I have like 20 of those arms now because why the fuck not?
Yeah. But I'll continue on. Like the thing that the problem, you need to wear clothing over armor, all that kind of thing. More variety, like backpacks for clothing. Just a backpack you could equip to clothing would be nice, or into like a backpack.
There is one. There is
Argo
one, and there's the backpack that came with the Ranger. You had to buy the concept Ranger to get it. That's the only backpack that's actually part of clothing that you can wear and actually store stuff in it. So you had to buy a concept ship from 3 years ago,
which you can't get anymore. You can't buy that anymore.
Yeah.
So even when it goes back on sale, you can't get that clothing item. So
I have it. Nice.
I think that's the solution to that is CIG needs to start implementing armor that is designed and coded for clothing. So you have the armor that's just for your player character that requires an undersuit, and then armor that is designed for regular clothing to wear, which is a pain in the ass. And I'm sure it'll be a solution, a stopgap solution, so they wouldn't have to break everything in order to make.
You see the pain in my face when you say that.
It's one of those things that's going to need to happen, especially if CIG wants to, and it's a Chris Roberts game, so it's definitely going to happen. They're going to push you to get out of your armor and your spacesuit and get into clothing. They're going to do that at some point because it's something they want to do. So,
I think one day I'm going to roll up to finally. One day I'm going to finally get hired by CIG, and I'm going to roll up to the office, and they're going to be like, "Oh, this is where you find all these things." I'm going to be like, "I know." I have been sending you guys emails about bad data for years now.
You almost got a job at CIG, didn't you?
I had an interview.
Yeah.
Twice. But both times first time they said that go finish your master's degree.
Yeah.
Second time they said that I would have to move and I couldn't move because I was still doing my master's degree. So I think I will wait before I go a third time.
Yeah.
I think I will wait because the only thing that they do right now that I'm actually qualified for is Quanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that team is staffed up for now. So I think I will maybe wait a year because actually the job I currently have, I don't want to give away too much, but I work in banking now as a software developer. So it's very, very similar in nature to Quanta. So I think if I stay with this for a year or two, gain some experience, I think that's going to be a major selling point for CIG to hire me for that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you getting hired because there's that pathway that I have. I have a curse where people I know and or chat on my chat end up getting hired by CIG, and I'll find out
half my org went to CIG.
Yeah.
CIG, if you're listening, you have my email, you have my resume. Give me a call.
And I know CIG is pretty good at about if you're really passionate about database management, like they'll move you over to that over time if you get you trained on it.
I am very passionate about databases. Like I've been saying this on every captain's table I've been on. CIG needs to give us people who make player-made tools like the Armory and the DPS calculator. You guys, they don't want us to be data mining this stuff. They don't want us to do this. They have explicitly said this to me multiple times. They don't want me to do this. So I'm like, well, if you don't want me to do this, just give us an API where I can pull this from your own servers, and I don't have to worry about all the stuff about data mining. And at some point, I just figured, you know what? Just give me a case of beer, and I'm gonna do it my own damn self because I need it.
API. Yeah.
You know how many hoops I have to get through to get a conversion for the others?
Because both, I realized after the fact that both of you have very much experience with Star Citizen's files and pulling them out and manipulating them and knowing how much CIG does and doesn't do to the various files. So
we actually have I have a mate of mine who can pull the files and also tell you exactly where every location is on the planet, even if they're unmarked, and every the full map. He can actually. We got a system that we can get the whole map and then every location and distance from every other location. Like the full triangulation we got set up.
Nice. Yeah. I wrote a little thing couple months back when they announced the new Iron Halo stations or the new Lagrange point stations. I made a little script that calculates intercepts between kind of the paths between the stations and planets and the Iron Halo for mining. It's a cool little spreadsheet. That
All right.
took way too much time.
But yeah, I think I'll just finish off with my thoughts on the clothing. More female clothing, more feminine clothing, and make it unisex. Who cares? It's the 30th century. Grow up. Then also combat clothing. We need something that's like designed for combat or for like a bulletproof vest of some kind to give you a little bit of protection. Because they make it a little
Talking
bit
about like unisex clothing, the couple episodes of Star Trek Next Generation where the muscle dude is just strutting through in the background with a skirt on.
Yeah. Dress. It was a full dress. But
he didn't even give a crap. He just went woof, and you're like, oh, that looks good.
Yeah. That dude that dude had legs though. That man had legs. Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about, those of you who know watching, it's like season 1 and season 2. That dude had legs for days. He could he looked like he could crush cars with his thighs, kind of dude. But yeah,
we're definitely getting demonetized.
What? We're talking about a PG TV show, by the way. It was PG.
Whoever at YouTube was listening to this, wondering if this would get demonetized, they need that information.
They immediately turned that off. They didn't even hear me when I said that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the next one. Let's get into the parts that are a little bit more popular in terms of discussions about customization. FPS. SpaceCoder, let's start with you. What's good about FPS customization? What's bad about FPS customization? And how would you improve it? Suggest CIG improve it.
The good things are there is so much armor. There are so many options in terms of color, type, what it does, how it looks. And you can combine this in whatever way you would like. The game doesn't care. You can have core of one set, arms of another set, legs of another set, some backpack you found by the side of the road, and a helmet that you took off some poor bastard. The game is fine with this. This is amazing because then it lets people create actually very cool armor sets that I have seen people wear around the verse. And you can actually customize what you're wearing towards the mission that you have. Though, I mean, currently the armor stats, pretty much most major part is inventory capacity and how much space it takes. The damage reduction is somewhat questionable in parts of how it works. I have done a lot of testing and I haven't been able to determine.
There's hitbox issues as well before you start on that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hitbox issues.
Yeah.
So how would you improve it?
That's actually very difficult. I think CIG kind of... Actually, I'm going to talk about weapon customization first. Also, they're doing this very well. There are not that many attachment options, or attachment type options, but it's good enough to where you can change your weapon to do what you want it to do. I would be happier to see if we had some Ghost Recon type customization, something a little more in depth. But this is fine for now. Maybe eventually we're going to get it, but if we don't, it's fine. But what I would improve is actually not the FPS customization. It's the inventory. I'm sorry, CIG, you screwed up. I don't like it. Physicalized inventory is great, but this drag and drop system, it's bad. It's not good.
Oh, sorry, they're not changing that. Sorry, they're not changing that. They're changing it to having the space in the backpack like Diablo.
Yeah. So I think that was kind of a weird step where I know you can double click the gear to equip it, or you can drag and drop. This is fine. It looks nice. Sometimes it works. Sometimes, emphasis on the sometimes. But I would much rather go back to the system we had before. Maybe not as part of your Mobby Glass. Maybe, it can be part of the inventory screen. I don't care. The inventory screen looks good. It works okay. But, let me, give me a list of the slots I can equip into and just let me select into those slots from a UI without dragging. It's never going to happen. We're going to be stuck with this drag and drop system forever. Eventually, I will stop complaining about it.
You'll
can
eventually
rock
just
with
get
the
used to it.
Yeah.
And you were talking about FPS weapons. Is there anything way you'd improve the FPS weapons?
One thing, CAG, fix your in-game descriptions, please. Because I get at least one question a week from someone using the armory where they're like, "Oh, why do you list range of this weapon as this when the description in game says this?" I'm like, "Well, because my range is calculated from the game files, and that is the actual range of the weapon, not what CAG do in their localized descriptions." CAG, fix your data, please.
They actually have.
Oh, yep.
Oh, well, I think I understand why they do that though, because I think their data, what they have in the descriptions, is designed what it's supposed to be, like what they want it to do, versus what they have in the game, which it actually is right now.
I think it's more of like
because
they
Gen 12
change.
is a
They
huge
change
issue.
the behavior of the weapons so often it just wouldn't be counterproductive to go around changing descriptions of things.
Yeah.
But what I am afraid of is that when we come to a point where this is more or less stable, and it's a good opportunity to update all of this, like go through the entire several 10,000 lines of descriptions for things and fix them, they're not going to do it.
No.
No way.
Also,
See
like,
Demicos and
fix your
counts
naming
everywhere.
conventions, please. Major headache. Fix naming conventions, please.
All right,
I'm sure
Diabolus.
Diabolus knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, I've had a peek at some of that too. Yeah, what the fuck? It needs to be cleaned up. Diabolus, your thoughts on FPS customization, weapons, armor, so on and so forth. Good, the bad, and what can they improve?
The amount of armors you get is insane. The issue I have is when you have two armors named white, and one is off-white and one is white. So you've got the full white set, and then you go, "Oh, I'll get that Centaurian helmet with the light on the top, and I'll slap that on there." Nope, different color, not the same white. Fuck. Why is it
Totally
slightly
forgot about
off white?
this one.
Then you
It's
got
like-
everything else.
Sometimes you have the color set different across the same set of armor. Like if it's different across two armor sets, like if it's blue and the blue and blue and the blues are different, I will be like, okay, fair enough. But if it's the same armor set and it looks different, I'm gonna get mad. And there are a lot of those.
I do like how lazy one of the armor sets is for so you know how you do in Orison the Orison Siege of Orison, you got the third dude who's in the Defiant set. That's the same. That's exactly the same. Besides the chest plate, the head, the arms, and the legs are the same set that you get from Subscriber Store. It's just the different chest with the Ninetales logo. But besides that, I love the fact that they're giving AI their own sets. Like they're the same armors, but their own color sets. And I love that. Like because if you get any Ninetales armor, you can pretty much mix and match the whole set of them, and get your own set of gear out of it. So you can have like the Defiance legs, or like the legs from one, and then you get the chest from another, the arms from another, and the head from another, and that looks right. Like it fits correctly. I love that. I don't like the fact that then you got other colors that don't match. Like I said, the other ones I do like is the simple fact is you got the undersuits sometimes don't matter, which I don't mind, because some suits only have the little chest, but they, like suits like the Morozov set, doesn't matter what undersuit you're wearing, it'll be the same. They need another way of doing differentiation between what different armor sets do. They need actually something else on top of it rather than just looks. Like if you want to use Morozov, it's better for something else compared to something else, rather than just it's 40% because it's heavy.
There are more granular reasons to choose it rather than just being.
I believe at some point inside Star Citizen or SC Live, they talked about how different helmets are gonna alter your HUD. I'm not sure if that's still a thing because that was many moons ago.
Yeah.
But I believe eventually they will extend this to armors and have them having different properties, because I know that they were looking for a period of time. They were looking into armors having different resistances to different damage types, and that got scrapped. I don't think it even made it out of PTU, and that was probably a year ago. So I think they're looking at this, but they never actually pushed it through the whole pipeline. So I think they probably determined it needs a little bit more work.
Yeah. Bring back the helmet HUD. The whole helmet that's comes around your face, and you have ultra widescreen. You're screwed. So your half your screen's gone because you get a helmet on.
Screen's gone. One of the things I'll piggyback on that one is CIG has talked about the resource, or talked about the turning spaceships into, or turning suits into spaceships. And one of the major things that's important to add to that is spaceships are eventually going to need resources. So we know we need fuel now, but eventually your power plant is going to need to be turned on through fueling, and there will be a wear out date. You'll have to replace parts and all sorts of things. I think with Star Citizen, the suits are probably also going to need that as well, which will add, and like how there are those slots, you'll have with a ship that you can do different add-ons, the server blades. I'm sure there's going to be some similar system with suits where you can have like different programs or different things, add-ons you can make that will improve that armor to a very specific thing. I think that is probably a better option than having this heavy armor as plus 40 protection plus this. But if you had this little add-on, like, oh, it'll, electrified weave. Now it also has an additional resistance against energy weapons or whatever. So some additions to customize the look without having to or customize the effect without having to change the look would be kind of a cool addition. Yeah. But I think right now what they do well with FPS is variety. I'm going to echo that. Variety is key. There's a lot of variety. If you want to look unique, it does not take much work to look unique. It's fairly easy to do so. And to get your own look is not that difficult. FPS in terms of customization is great. They've got lots of different options for scopes and underbarrel attachments and front barrel attachments. But what they can improve on is hand grips.
Hand grips.
We need hand grips. We need hand grips. We need.
The funny thing is, the Custodian actually is a hand grip. It is a hand grip on the same system as everything else, but it doesn't. Yeah.
We also need stock options to be able to swap out stocks.
Yeah.
We need to be able to swap out magazines. We need to have longer magazine options, shorter and longer magazine options. Lots of those customizations you'd see, as I think what you were saying, SpaceCoder, like Ghost Recon style.
Yeah. The thing that I'm actually missing the most about weapon attachments is something that I use a lot in real life, which is canted iron sights. Because when you have a scope, then having those iron sights as a backup for close range is very useful.
Some the ability to do that. And then also for colors, it's going to be a ship, and this is where we're going to get into it, because the hex code thing is one of the reasons why I talked about this. We need to be able to paint our armors, because holy balls is trying to find a specific color set in a fucking loot table annoying as shit. It is dumb. It is like, oh yeah, I have to work super hard to get this super custom outfit where I'm going to die 2 minutes later because of a bug. And then lose it all. And it's just not fun. It's not engaging. It's not interesting to do. It's just going to cause, and has caused, a lot of people just to default to whatever they can find to buy rather than finding some cool stuff. That's dumb. That needs to change. And I know that CIG wants us to go dumpster diving through the various loot locations and get stuff.
I can tell you, Paul, I went through loot box, I went through hundreds of boxes, and I was grabbing everything. Everything that was a thing, I was grabbing. Mm-hmm. I still couldn't get a full set of one car of any type of set. Not even a set, the full head, chest, arms, legs of pink. I had pink, I had purple, but I couldn't get a full set of both, of either. Mm-hmm. And I played hundreds of hours, and I can't find one.
Yeah, there's kind of two things I think about it. One is that I think there might be some bug with how loot is generated, because I keep getting the same things. I keep getting, the placeholder specialist green arms everywhere. I have never seen another piece of that armor. I just get 2-3 of them in some boxes. And second, I think CIG is doing what CIG does, where they are removing common items from stores just to force us to go around looting. Because that's what CIG do, to force players to do things, rather than to make it rewarding, just make it the only option.
Yep. You want to test this thing? Make everything else extremely hard to make money on, and make that the money maker.
Yeah.
That's how you test it.
We have seen this how many times? Mining, then
Yeah.
rock mining,
It's
hand mining in between.
it's a bad method. I don't like it, and I know CIG does it because it must work for CIG because they seem to love doing it, and so they keep doing it.
It's incredibly easy for them.
Yeah.
They just change some values and that's it. Like they don't actually have to motivate players to do it because they hold you at gunpoint and be like, well, if you want to do something, you have to do it our way.
And I think that's my biggest pet peeve when it comes to all of customization. We'll talk about that as well later, but which is that CIG does not want to let go. They are holding on to control of what customization is, and they do not want to let go. And I think in the long run, it will hurt them unless they start relaxing some of that and let players be creative. Because you can't, on one end, say, we love when players are creative and doing creative things, and then force you to find the only way you can get purple armor is if you loot for 3,000 hours. Like, that's dumb. That's counterproductive. It doesn't encourage people to loot. It just encourages people to not be creative, to be more just whatever, play in the regulation way.
You have to actually like ask on the oh, okay, does anyone have this? I need to buy this and that. And it's good for gameplay if you want to sell stuff.
Yeah.
But for a while, I was actually considering making an extension to the armory, which would be an item marketplace where people could trade.
Mm-hmm.
It's still in design. Like there's a diagram somewhere in my notes, but the amount of insanity I would have to go through to implement it is just.
Well, that's the thing. Something like that would work great if there was a way to do it. But there's no real easy way to have players do a swap meet to drop off to sell and those sorts of things.
That was kind of the major thing why it failed, kind of the viability study, so to speak, is that there's no guaranteed safe way for players to do this. Like, let's say I do this. I spend a couple hundred hours implementing this website to do this. First guy comes along, does a trade, gets robbed. Suddenly it's my problem. I am the one responsible because I am the one who facilitated it. And that's not a position that I would like to be in. That's not a position anyone want to be in. So until CAG kind of gives us the tools to do this in game, it's just counterproductive to do this, which is sad.
There needs to be some sort of structured way of trading. There also needs to be some sort of way where chat suggested some sort of auction house or something like it. And I know CIG doesn't. CIG is allergic to the idea of doing what works. They would rather take something that works and then add 30 greebles to it just because they want to make it sound unique and interesting when it's just that same thing, but with random piping added to it.
That's not how CIG does it. CIG, they go like, okay, this is what happens at CIG when they need to do something. They open up the Jira, they open up the Epic for the thing, and they're like, we need to do thing.
Mm-hmm.
They sit down in their little meeting room, and they talk about doing the thing, and then they break it out into a bunch of user stories. And what they end up doing is they like, oh, here's the thing we need to do that's done in every single MMO out there. So we're going to forget every single MMO out there. We're going to do it our own way. We're going to do it in an insanely complicated way that's going to take us 2 years to do. And it's only going to be halfway done when we release it. We're going to make a huge amount of noise about releasing it. And then it's not going to work and it's going to suck and everybody's going to complain. And then a couple of years later, we're going to change it to where it's actually going to work. That's how CIG does it.
Yeah, and that's not wrong. Like, there's lots of examples. If you want to see a speedrun version of that, look at hover mode. It's exactly what happened with hover mode.
Yes. And the thing is, like, every single game developer and software developer that plays Star Citizen, when they see this, they just go like, why? That's me. Every time a major patch releases, is like, why?
And
why? I could do this in half the time for a tenth of the money, and it would work.
I think the reason comes down to twofold: not enough resources and too much ambition.
Yeah,
it's just generally what it is. And the fundamental problem when it comes to a lot of these issues, especially with customization, is it's not seen as important, or it may not be seen as vital compared to other aspects of the game. which, to be fair, right now it's not a huge issue. But we're getting to the point in the next 2 years, I'd say, when we already see a huge growth. They're already talking about a new player experience, which is something they were allergic to up until now. Now, suddenly they look at their numbers and they're going, holy shit, there's a lot of people showing up. And so they're going, we need to figure out a way to do something to get these new people in. And the thing is that once new players get over the ooh, ah, shiny, the first thing that most MMO players will do is try to make themselves look unique. And if they're like, oh, the only way you can look unique is by spending 7,000 hours grinding loot crates inside bunkers to find the right outfits you want, they're going to go, fuck that. And not bother. And as CIG, this is even CIG's philosophy. CIG wants to make players attached to their gear and attached to their ships. And to do that, they're going to need to loosen the reins a little bit and let players be able to customize the stuff on their own and not force it behind a bunch of gameplay that nobody wants to play. So,
and I mean, kind of an elegant solution I had someone suggest to me at some point was, okay, let's say that some gear is not available in stores. Like, let's say it's not commonly available, but you can go to a specialized store somewhere.
Yeah.
And you're going to pay for it more money, and it's going to say, okay, your item will be delivered in X amount of hours. And you're going to come back there, and it's going to give you your item. This would work perfectly. And okay, let's say it works based on rarity of items, and you would have to wait many, many hours for something to get there. It's fine. People will still go through with this.
Diabolus,
because I think it's more productive.
Diabolus, you're muted.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. You could do that system. Sorry, I just realized that. I'm like, oh. You could do that system, but you have it a player-based order system. So you put the order in, and the players can sell it to that thing for a higher price. So, like, you spend 100 grand for an armor set, and people can deliver to there and make like 15 grand for the arms or 10 grand for the legs and stuff like that.
You can find like a list players. Like an order sheet. Like, we need this many. We need these arms here. We'll buy this group will buy, like this NPCs will buy these arms so they can sell them. Turn them around, kind of thing. So.
God, the concurrency code required to do that. Yeah. Oh God, no. But with the new stuff they have for server shards, it could actually be doable, at least on a shard level. I don't know how well it would sync across multiple shards, but they do have some very interesting improvements to the netcode and the synchronization between shards.
Yeah.
Well, you know what they did when because I was online when the first wave of Orison kicked over. They had 120 player servers, right? And they split the server live to 70. Like, when people were on it, they literally split. No one got kicked. They just split the server. There was one group of my friends on one side of the server, and another server got split to another one. So they can do that live.
That's called like server meshing split, but like it's separate servers. Like they split the server into two separate servers.
Yes.
Live. Okay. So it's definitely they're testing something out. But that was all talk about FPS stuff, and we kind of dipped into the other things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about ship customization, because this is the big one that a lot of people harp on. Diabolus,
I will start very quickly. This is what I'm doing on the side here. I was going through my hangar. For ship customization, I have spent $421 USD on paints. That's how much money I spent to customize my ships.
Uh-huh.
So there's a reason why CIG doesn't want to stop it.
Yeah, I get that. But eventually they can't have the only way you can customize your ships be pull out the wallet. Especially with the ridiculous prices of skins. Because people like us will pay for $30 for red on a ship because we think it looks cool, because we want to support the project.
No.
But
But
at the end of that whole thing, eventually, when they get more and more people, when more people show up, when the main bulk of the audience for Star Citizen shows up, which I contend still isn't here yet. CIG seeing them start to show up now, but they won't spend $30 on a skin. And they will still want customization options because, again, MMOs are about customization. They're about being unique, about making your own epic character, whatever. That's why people stay around and play with those characters for longer periods. And you need something in game to let them do that. And just buying skins in game isn't going to be that thing as well. So, but yeah, Diabolus, goods, bads, and how to fix ship customization.
Okay. The goods. Okay, we got through that one. The bads. So the sheer amount of skins we have are minimal. Some ships don't have any skins. A Jump, for one, is just white.
Mhm.
I want my yacht not to be white, please, because it gets dirty.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to pressure wash the side of it every second day. I actually had the ship in game for like 4 weeks without having a reclaim on it, and it was not looking good. Then just the sheer amount of paints we got for one ship is a lot, and then some ships have nothing. Even if this is the way of fixing it, but if they want to keep a way of making it so you still have to buy, even in game, buy a skin for in game and have colors on that. So let's say this is not a hex code. I'm just saying CRG might be doing this or not. You have to go to Cousin of Crows, buy a skin, and that skin can have 5 colors.
Mm-hmm.
So you pick 1 of 5 colors of that skin type. Now he's fucking loud.
I turned you down. I turned you down. You're good. It's probably attenuation on Discord. That's probably what it's doing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's something in my backend. I got free. I'm running through 3 different programs through Discord.
You're talking about the ship skins.
Yeah. So it's just the only way they can fix it. The issue is they've got all this system, this whole system now where people have all these skins, and if you go to Hexcode now, you have all these skins that are useless because you go to Hexcode. They've backed themselves to a corner. And now what's going to happen is, I remember then when they removed Voyager Direct and all your stuff was useless because all the stuff could be bought in game. So then you had to sell all your shit back to game and you just have store credit. Well, they actually, no, you didn't have store credit. You only got back in UEC, which is why I got 100 grand of UEC on the market, because I bought all this stuff through Voyager Direct back in the day, and now I had to melt it all for store for credit, which was only in UEC. So I've got I every patch I load in with 100 grand just because I bought stuff for UEC. That's going to happen again. You're going to have these, if they put in a paint system with a hex code, they now got this other system they have in place, which is the alignment system, where all these other skins have are sitting there. And you're how are they going to, they've just backed themselves into a coding corner with that stuff.
Okay. How would you improve it other than, you said basically giving
having a skin that has some multiple sets of colors on each skin, so still have the skin system,
and
then being able to change at least give each skin 5 colors at minimum, and then even though that's a pretty shitty way of doing it, at least then you can add more skins and then having different colors. You can get a pearlescent skin, your skin is pearlescent, so you can have multiple colors of pearlescent. Then a material paint, but even then it's still annoying to shit having to buy a full skin for it.
Sorry, I had to deal with someone in chat who was being a little bit too serious about this whole thing. All right, SpaceCoder. What are your thoughts on how to improve customization? What do they do well? What do they do poorly, and how can they improve it?
So right now is gonna be my moment of vindication.
Okay.
Because 2-3 years ago, when I started making YouTube videos on Star Citizen, I made a video called "Is Ship Customization Dead?"
Yeah.
And everybody called me an idiot and an asshole back then, because that was around when the first ship paints came out. They're like, "Oh, that's never gonna happen. CIG is never gonna cancel customization to sell paints." Who's laughing now, motherfuckers? I was right 3 years ago. And yeah, so basically, it's nice that we have paints that are sold for exorbitant prices, and not all ships have them. Okay, this is fine. It's kind of the MMO thing to do. Elite Dangerous does this too. Every other MMO does this. I expected nothing else. My problem is that CIG initially promised us full customization. They have actually shown off a couple demos of this working.
On the Saber. The Saber and the Hangar changing colors on the fly, yeah.
Yeah, so they have actually shown this off working. So they clearly have a working demo somewhere, or they at least have an idea on how to do this. They probably don't know how to store the information and propagate it correctly into the game, which is understandable, but I think it's going to get solved with persistent entity streaming and the storage changes that are doing with that. But like Diabolus said, they have essentially cornered themselves, because now if they do introduce customization, then what prevents people from making the paid paints? Nothing, unless you introduce arbitrary limits on what colors and patterns can be used. By which, since you have flat colors as pattern or as skins, and you have basic patterns like camo and that kind of stuff as patterns on those paid skins, you have essentially locked yourself out of 75% of all customization options if you made it fully customizable. What you gonna do now, CIG? It's a catch-22 basically. You're either gonna
go ahead.
Yeah, you're either gonna piss off one group or you're gonna piss off the other group.
I have an interesting solution for this, because this is something, because this is it's another CryEngine game, so I know it works in the engine. So it's not, they can't whinge and complain that it's an engine limitation, because it's not. It's built off the same technology. MechWarrior Online has a system where you can purchase a pattern. That pattern comes with paint. You can replace that pattern with whatever paint you have, and you can have a set of paints, basic paints that you own, plus every pattern has its own paint that comes with it, which is a different shade of different paints, or a different, like a pearlescent or whatever. And then what CIG can do is easily say, everyone who has these patterns with these paints, you have the pattern and the paint, and you can then use that paint on any ship you own, and you can use that pattern on every ship you own, or use that pattern, because I think they're going to lock it to individual ships. Whoa. I don't know why that turned on.
Yeah. They could do that. That is a valid way, where it's kind of like the middle road, where you kind of piss off everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the only way out of here, because initially I think they meant skins as kind of a rare thing to be very specific for events or occasions.
And you can also still make it difficult. Like, for instance, the only way you're getting a customized ship is if you take your ship to Cousin Crow's, you have the pattern ready, you have the paints, and maybe you have free paints that you can purchase, or you can pay Cousin Crow's to use certain paints, and they have certain paints they'll use, which is... It doesn't sound too unrealistic, because if you go to any kind of customized auto shop, they do have certain paints in stock usually, but they don't have every paint that's ever existed. So if you have some specific idea, you're going to have to order it, and it's going to, or even maybe be like, I don't know how to use that. I don't know how to paint with that. So you go to a place, you say, I want my ship to be a special snowflake. I don't care about this skin. I want to have this skin, but I want to take this camo skin and turn it all purples and pinks. You could do it. You take your ship to the Cousin Crow's, you give it to the Cousin Crow's, they'll say, we'll get it to you in a week. And now you have to lock that ship behind for a week and let that paint happen. Or CIG has a special purple and pink camo color skin that comes pre-approved. You take it to Cousin Crow's, they apply it in a day.
Yeah.
That's a solution to allow for both to exist, and to allow for it's the similar concept of having it be accessible to people who didn't pay for it, but easier, but make it easier for people who did, kind of thing. So I don't know. I think it's a solution to it, but I think, as you were saying, it's just going to piss everybody off, because people who paid for that special snowflake skin or got that unique skin that you could only get through pre-order are going to be like, I paid extra money for this skin. I want it. No one else is supposed to have it, but it's not like CIG hasn't done that before. The M50.
No, not just that. Like, they just did it. They just did that. No, not like they still have to pay for it, but the Cutlass Black skin.
Yeah.
Came with the original pirate pack. Like, when I bought the game, this was my actual initial pack, was that pack, and it came with that skin, and now they released it by its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to start selling the skins they sold originally in packs again.
Yeah, and subscriber armor appearing in loot tables. And the reality is that I'm sure there were people who complained about it. I'm sure there are people who were screaming about it, but I don't visit Spectrum, so I don't because it's for health reasons. Because
but Reddit loves you, Paul.
Yeah, I will still occasionally browse Star Citizen's Reddit just to see what the lunatics in the asylum or who run the asylum are saying about the game. But like generally speaking, I didn't see any issues. I didn't see a lot of people complaining about finding subscriber gear in the tables. You know,
you see, every time my food is a little bland, I go on Spectrum. Plenty of salt.
And I'm going to be an equal opportunist here. It doesn't matter what kind of salt it is. It could be people who are salty for the game, against the game, salty about individuals who are in the game. It doesn't fucking matter. You want to see drama? Spectrum should be should literally be sold as a channel in cable packages as a drama channel for people who need to watch it.
I'm going to take one more shot at Spectrum. Is that in winter around here they salt the roads, and every winter the utility company that does the salting and plowing the roads, they complain they don't have enough salt. And every year I say, just go on Spectrum. Plenty of salt there, and it's free.
I swear to God, they should name a salt asteroid just Spectrum at some point. But
my favorite. No,
go ahead.
I love the one thing I love about Spectrum is you have one person complaining about something, and someone else complaining about that person complaining about something, and you got this like the circle jerk of complaining about someone else complaining about something else.
Yeah,
and then the moderators lock it because the conversation is getting a little too personal.
And then people complain about the moderators locking something that had a discussion when it was just a circle jerk of them complaining about something.
Yeah, my comment got removed, and I was having a legitimate conversation. And you read the conversation, it's like, why did you call his mom a fuck face? Well, he called my wife a bitch. It's like, you're 12. You're 45 years old. Stop getting in fights on the internet over internet spaceships. Grow up. Holy shit. It's not that serious. Says the man who's just did an hour-long podcast complaining about how there's not enough pretty things in the game. But,
you see, we're complaining in a structured and controlled way.
Yeah,
and you know what? I'm gonna go on with the Spectrum salt. We're the streamers. We rule this game.
We rule the game. We have a pipeline directly to it. We nerf games.
Let's not that again. We already had to do that last week. Yeah. Oh god.
I think we had a good conversation about this. As always, if you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, your thoughts. How well does CIG do customization? What do they fall down on, and how could they improve in the future? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Make sure you're following Diabolus on, the best place to find you is in game, but your YouTube is still somewhat active, right? It's
no
at all. You do Twitter. You do updates on your.
No, I don't retweet anyone. Mm-hmm. And I accidentally hit retweet on your post about you had 12,000 subs. I'm like, yeah, I'll leave it. I don't do anything on like I post
your
once a year.
Your cosplay stuff there though, so it'd be good
on Twitter. Yes,
yeah,
very rarely.
And then of course the SpaceCoder.
I have to make one.
The SpaceCoder, youtube.com/TheSpaceCoder, and visit armory.spacecoder.space.
Yeah, armory.thespacecoder.space. There's a lot of space.
The space, yes, lots of space, and those. So go there, check it out. Find out where you can find your custom special snowflake outfits.
Find out where you should spend 7,000 hours grinding through a bunker.
Yeah,
it's gonna save you looking for which bunker.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where the white White Inquisitor stuff is? Thanks.
Yeah, just go there.
Just go to the armory.
And as always, thank you for watching. If you're watching this live on Twitch, make sure you're hitting that follow button. It helps out. You'll know when we go live for all these sorts of things. We do this live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Saturdays. And what was I going to follow up? Oh, if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, right above Diabolus is the link to the question and answers, because I drop them at the same time now, and it seems that people enjoy that. So go there right now if you want to watch a little bit more, and just watch the next one.
I'm looking at the question and answers right now because I have admin access and I can check them all.
There we go. All right, sorry, sneezing. But we're going to move on to the question and answer session for those of you who are watching us live. So stick around. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.